Who picks up a musical instrument and is Ed Sheeran a week later? It doesn't work like that. It's unsustainable if you're not doing something you enjoy. I know how much work to put into this. I know how much work we put into what we do. It's like, if you hate it, you're not going to do it for long. If
it doesn't light you up, or it doesn't give you a feeling of like of some form of purpose within yourself that makes you get up out of bed in the morning and feel kind of alive, that tells you everything you need to know. And the success and failure things at the end of each spectrum is kind of like inconsequential.
I wouldn't even call what I've done success yet. I don't know what. There's almost no such thing as success because it never ends. You actually never get to a point where you're like, yeah, sick. I've done it. No, you didn't even get to there. Like, it's absolute chaos 24/7 forever. If I could show, hey, 15-year-old Juzzy, this is what you look like, bro. You know, this is what you look like in 10 years. This is what you're doing. He'd be like, whoa. And I don't know what that does to my soul, bro. That sends me insane. Like, I could shed a tear on that.
That together we have clarity, direction, and success way beyond what we ever previously thought possible. Here's your host, Frankie Lee.
First things first, guys, before we get started with this podcast, do me a solid favor and subscribe to this on whatever platform you're listening to it right now. Whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I'd appreciate if you just hit that subscribe button, and it lets me know that the content that I'm putting out for you guys is hitting your ears at the right time. Much love. This podcast is sponsored by contentremoval.com. So whether you're looking to remove any images, videos, search results, fake Instagram accounts, get in touch with us at contentremoval.com. Welcome back to the Frankie Lee podcast. Guys, today I've got an absolute barnstormer for you. It's not the usual thing that we've gone into today, and I just want to. I'm really hyped to do this one. I have the man who co-created BreadGang TV. If you haven't seen BreadGang TV, you got to tune into it. It's funny as fuck, to be honest with you. And the reason I've got Juzzy on the podcast today is because the marketing and the way that he's constructed and built this brand over the last few years has just been phenomenal. Like the traction they're getting, the interaction they're getting on social media. I just think there's so much value that Juzzy can put into context for all of you that are marketing your businesses, your brands, yourselves online, and just starting to get, help you get more traction in your life. So Juzzy, welcome to the show.
Hey man. How are you?
You're cuddling the pillow.
Yeah. I'm a cuddler slightly.
Yeah, fucking hell. Mate, I'm hyped to have you on here because I think you've had an exceptional rise, you and your co-founder, in this BreadGang TV, where you're out there, you're interviewing people on the streets, people are giving you funny content. But there's a few things that I want to go into because not many people would kind of know your backstory and kind of know how articulate you are and know some of the insights that you can give in the world. Because people don't really, when you but don't shoot yourself down, mate. Because when you hold the mic, people don't get to see how much goes into what you do, I think, is in essence.
Yeah, I think that's like anything built in the world, like any product, brand. It's kind of like you're never going to understand what happens behind it, but it's always like something's going on for sure. Yeah. We just...
It's been a bit of a notorious rise for you, because I didn't even realise before you started BreadGang TV that you were, which is obviously a YouTube series and Facebook and everything else, Instagram, TikTok. It's like I didn't realise that you were DJing.
Yeah. Well, before BreadGang, I was a rapper.
Right.
So I still do that as well. And then I knew my way around some decks as well, but I didn't really perform as a DJ or anything. And then once COVID hit, we were like, the thought process, which actually ended up being wrong, was COVID hit, and then I got back. I was stuck in North America all of 2020 during COVID. So I got back at the very end of 2020, and then at the start of 2021, we get booked for like appearances. Yeah. So when you have like, I'm sure you understand, but for everyone else, when you have like a following online, you can just get booked at a nightclub or an event, like a festival, as an appearance, which means you literally just go there and stand there, and they just say, oh, X human is going to be here.
Yeah.
So it's really popular for like reality TV stars, like after they finish their television, they'll do like an appearance tour.
People on Love Island and Geordie Shore and all that kind of stuff.
And I didn't, but the problem with that is that I like saw straight away is appearance tours are like your last hurrah. So once you finish your TV show or something, you do an appearance tour, you're not going to do another one in 18 months. because how many more seasons have come out of The Bachelor, of Love Island, and they just got a new cast, new crew.
So it's a cash grab, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a little cash grab, and so the venue was trying to book us for appearances, okay, and I'd been a performer all my life, so I had Cam's other fella. If this audience doesn't know, he's got the long curly brown hair, gorgeous human. He's in Sydney right now, and we kind of spoke about like, well, we don't want to do an appearance tour because it's a bit, it's like I said, it's like almost shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
it's like you
can't. The wrong message, isn't it?
Yeah. Excuse me. You can't. I'm not seeing it done. You can't do an appearance tour over and over again. And we're performers. I don't want to go to a nightclub, sit in the VIP, and drink beers. Yeah. Like that's not fun to me.
And this is another thing about you. So you don't drink a lot, do you?
I can sink them definitely, but I guess probably not what people think. When I'm on, I'm on. So I guess it's kind of like neither here nor there. Because when I'm on, I mean, I'll sink beers till 5 a.m. 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, and some if we keep going. But yeah, like I'm pretty focused on the brand and building a whole thing around it.
But yeah, you're more focused on that than you are on going out and getting blasted every night.
Yeah, I don't focus on that.
If you looked at the social media and then people would have a connotation with you that doesn't necessarily align with what actually goes in at the back end, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if I'm sinking piss, I'm someone's filming it because, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like going out getting blind drunk in my off days. My off days, I'm recovering and resting and like building back up emails. Like there's a lot that goes into brands and stuff like that. So what happened with the appearances? I said, I'm not going to do appearances, but I can do a DJ set. And the first venue I said that to, he's like, oh, you're a DJ. I'm like, sure. Yeah, we're DJs. Just, yep. And he's like, okay, cool. Next week, we'll get you a headline. And then I called Cam and I was like, oh, we've got to learn how to DJ, bro. We got 7 days. So I started calling my DJ homies. I was like, can someone run me through this? Yeah. And I don't think DJing's that hard. I think it's hard to be really good, like anything. Yeah, but I think that's something, if you like music, you can break into pretty easy because it's a really simple process to match the beat and then mix into the next song.
I suppose from your rap days and that, and from your rapping,
and I understand music. Yeah,
so, you got a bit of a musical brain, so you understand how to line these things.
Yeah,
up.
I already understood it, so it was kind of like, I just brushed up on it, and then
so it kind of give you a bit of an extra revenue stream without you even realizing it.
It's the revenue stream now. So, yeah, because it's monetization online can be hard. That was never a part of the the plan to monetize videos, because with the content we put out, there's so much swearing and references with drugs and not quite nudity, but like censored stuff and all that, So straight away they get demonetized. So if people are putting out like PG content and getting the views we're getting, you're just making a lot, like really a lot of money, like 6 figures a month type cash. And then, but that's for us, it's almost non-existent. Very occasionally we'll have like a day where something gets monetized and just make $5,000 in a day or something, but that's very, very rare.
Yeah,
just because of the type of stuff we do.
Just because you're so close to the line with all the content you do.
Yeah, it's pretty edgy stuff. But that's why our rise was so quick. So day 7, we had 0 followers, and day 7 we had 1 million views. Yeah.
Day 7.
Yeah. So that's another thing that people might be surprised about. Like everything that happened the first 12 months, everything what happened was written down on a piece of paper before it happened. So it was actually really manifested.
This is what fucking interests
me. This is the stuff that you're into.
Oh, mate, I fucking love. I love. No, this. Yeah, I'm into this. Break down this whole culmination of BreadGang TV. You coming back from America and you starting this up because. Mate, you know how hard I work on what I'm doing right now to go, and I know how fucking phenomenally gifted and well you'd have to do to go from 0 to 1 million views in 7 fucking days. So break down that whole process and that creative process, because I love the way that you planned your success before you even had it.
Yeah, no, like the piece of paper will be somewhere. It's a cool piece of paper, like the follower count, the view count, the ideas. Now, so, okay, sure. 2019, January, I just went viral because I streaked the cricket, which was funny. That's a story in itself. For the past, 6-7 years, I've just had so many ideas, and I'm always calling my friends. I've got this idea. Let's do this. We went to Europe in 2014, I think, and I was like, everyone, I'm like, GoPros, let's film everything, stuff like that. It always just broke down. And my friends were always so like, sweet, Juzzy's got another idea. Let's, we'll try again.
Yeah.
2019, so I'd done music semi-successfully. We were traveling the world, street performing actually. We were good street performers. Excuse me. This soda's delicious, but it's making me burpy.
Shout out famous Soda Co.
Yeah, for sure.
Who don't sponsor the podcast yet, but should do.
Oh, they should do.
Yeah.
Frankie's fridge is full of these, man. They don't? That's not a sponsor?
No, it's not a sponsor yet. No. I'm going to hit him up.
Mate, it's just rows and rows and rows. It's in front of the CBD oil. Okay, where was I going? So I always had these crazy ideas, and crazy to some. And then, so I called all my friends. I was like, look, I got 5 of us, I think, on board. I said, we'll get an Airbnb. This is the idea. We'll start a YouTube channel. Because I'd recently become like reasonably good friends with some of the popular social media stars in Australia. Jackson, O'Doherty, Marty Michael.
Yeah.
Like that.
All the lads that live around here that are doing great on the YouTube videos.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously, they've all those boys have built incredible like platforms, far bigger than ours, like worldwide stuff, which is cool. And I was like, there's a full hole in the market for who's partying in Australia. Jackson's done a little bit more party now, but back then he was just pranks with the boys type thing, and it's definitely still had that. But like, who's partying? Who's actually out there? Like, they compare us, like, I don't know, Danny Duncan, Nelk Boys. I don't know if you're a bit into YouTube.
Nelk Boys done really well.
I'm like, Aussies, in my opinion, are the best, and the British as well, to be fair. Like, like you travel the world, you're looking for Aussies to sink piss with, or like English lads. You're not looking for Canadians or Americans. They just don't get it. Like they don't get the sesh like the boys do. That's my opinion anyway, and I think it's pretty well.
It's the banter as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is.
It's the banter. It's not just about. The Irish as well are really good fun.
Oh, 100%. Oh, they probably top us all. To be fair,
the Irish, the Welsh are good fun. The Scottish, the English, the Australians.
Yeah,
I think that's
Kiwis. Shout out the Kiwis. That's for sure.
Kiwis can have a good party too, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
I suppose you just thought, well, let's build a brand then off the back of this like Australian party lifestyle culture. Let's do snorkels and jump in the pool, backwards kind of stuff.
For sure. So it's kind of like, this is why it was so beautiful. So I said to my friends, because it was originally meant to be a few of us, I said, the beauty of this is, I know how to build a brand through all the mistakes I've made over the years. I understand branding and marketing now. I've thrown more darts at a dartboard, than anyone.
Than most, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've tried a million different things. In my motivation, not to go too far left, but motivation's always just like, I just want to live a crazy life. I just want to do cool things. I just want to do as much as I can do in life, if that makes sense. Like, I was never motivated to be like famous or rich. I don't care for those things. It's like
from knowing you the short time that I've known you, you're just high on life. You want to have a good time.
Yeah,
you want good vibes, and the money will come on the back of that happening.
Yeah, exactly right. It does. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, 2019. I call all the boys. I'm like, look, come. We'll go get an Airbnb for 5 weeks or so. I've got some ideas. We'll film it. And this is where we'll go. I gave him a few references, like a few channels and stuff. I was like, this is basically what it's going to look like. The beauty of this is we don't have to pretend to be anyone else. Oh, these sodas are delicious, man. They're coming up. I'm all wet as well. I got stuck in between the trams and fucking pissing down outside. Gold Coast is a rubbish weather right now. Okay, so everyone pulls up. I got a few people in. We'll chuck a bit of cash in. Like, let's have a go. Nothing really came of it. This is January through to the end of February 2019. And yeah, we filmed a couple of things. We just didn't know what we were doing. There's no direction, but we came up with the channel BreadGang. I think it was February 12th. And then, so 2 weeks after that, mid-March, I'm like, okay, now I've really got it. I've honed in everything out of this piece of paper. I said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to go. And then the only one who showed up to the next meeting was Cam, which is my partner now. And everyone else, you know, they might have birds or had to take care of, or, you know, something or other. It's not. They just said, they just. But communication fizzled out. Yeah.
But people just tapped out, don't they?
They just tapped out. Yeah. And then so Cam pulled up, and then I said, okay, cool. April 1st, what we're going to do is we're going to film 100 vlogs in 100 days. Every single day, we'll wake up. If the vlogs need to be monetized, add an Uber Eats account. So, you know, you can like dash on Uber Eats and stuff like that, DoorDash, all that type of stuff. So in the morning, I'll wake up 8 a.m. I'll do Uber Eats for as long as, until I make the money that the budget of that day. You know what I mean? So we're doing silly things like drinking beers in public, just like YouTube prank stuff. And then on day 7, we drove into the valley in Brisbane and then did Tell Us Something Your Mum Doesn't Know. And that just went straight away. That just went boom. And then I said, okay, that's it. We would chase after that. The interviews work. And then Lucas City in Australia, that was the next one. So then that kind of, and I had the idea. I was like, okay, look, you see it sometimes on Facebook. It's kind of like you plant two things against each other, like vote for this or vote for that. People in the comments arguing. People are in social media is about engagement. That's what drives the views. And if you get the engagement, it doesn't really matter what you put out, as long as it's branded correctly, as long as it's something that's happening. It's like one thing's happening. Don't try and make a million things happening. One thing's happening. So we're partying. We're sending it with the public. Tell us something your mum doesn't know. One thing's happening. As long as you get the engagement, it's easy to get engagement from that, because it's cheating, bro, because people are literally seeing themselves in the video. There'll be 50, 60 people in the video of a compilation.
So they're sending it to their mates.
All their mates. Every single human in that video is responsible for 10 comments on the video. If there's 50 people, there's 500 comments. So it's cheating. So we went around Australia, town to town to town to town. We did groundwork like no one else. That's why our brand deals are paid well, because we can literally take products anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because other people, you have the reach online.
I love the way you've broken that down. How you structure those videos to make them such shareable content.
Yeah,
and that's what people, you know, whether you guys are building a personal brand or whether you're building a business brand or whatever, you need to make the content shareable. And it's kind of there needs to be like a hook, and the kind of hooks that you put in your content are very virally shared because of the nature of the way that they're talking. The topics that they're talking about, it's a bit risky. It's out there. It's like it's funny. You know, you got girls on there talking about like things that they should never be saying on camera.
And it's so cool because that's the marketing side of it. And now the cool, fun, like just natural side of it is, dude, we're literally just out there. We don't approach people for interviews because, you know, it's not like I'm running up to girls and like, say this, do this or something. We're out there with a light and a microphone and people just come running. It's just Aussies being Aussies.
Yeah.
And the naysays, you can put a negative like vibe on it, twist on it if you want, but no, we're literally just out there. You know, we're pissed if sometimes we're filming, we're pissed. You know, Cam's fucking always pissed when he's filming. He's nuts, bro. I'm driving half the time or whatever, and we're just out there. That's what people are attached to. You know what I mean? Because so you do the groundwork, the cheating, because there's so many people see themselves in the video. A million of their friends are going to comment, tagging them, stuff like that. And then there's the other side to it. It's actually just like a good time. And when we talk about things, sometimes people call us comedians. Like I think comedy's an art, so I'd never call myself a comedian. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for me, but in my opinion, a comedian is a stand-up comic, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if I'd be that fantastic at stand-up. I don't think I would be. So what we talk about inside the business is we don't sell comedy, we sell vibes. We sell good vibes, man.
I love that.
So when the video's being prepared, edited, posted, titles, thumbnails, we just sell good times. That's what we sell, if that makes sense.
So essentially then what you've done is you've put around the brand, you've put a connotation of good vibes, and then every time someone's creating a piece of content or every time someone's putting something together or a reel or something like that, you're saying, you're going back to that connotation that you've put on the brand board, which says, you know, does this live by our good vibes brand?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, you don't put it out, and if it does, obviously
exactly
it lands.
Right. You create a filter,
and
if it passes through the filter, I couldn't just go woke, for example. I couldn't. It wouldn't work. People would be like, it looks silly. So when we changed into DJs, okay, that was a gentle change. We couldn't just go full DJs. I see other social media people do it. They don't know how to do it. The audience just goes, wait, I'm not here for random. I'm not here for music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm learning when you're saying this because I'm like, fuck, I've seen this so many times. I mean, even I've tried to do it as well.
Yeah.
Like
I've only learnt through my mistakes.
Yeah, because right, because I had a stage. Well, I'm in the stage where I'm doing like spiritual work, where I'm doing breath work, where I'm doing mindset work, where I'm constantly evolving and stuff. And that was a massive change on the socials compared to what it was before, where it was more like boxing and fitness and podcast. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's a reasonable segue, though.
And then it went from boxing and fitness podcast to podcast and a bit more spiritual type stuff. So it's kind of like there wasn't. I didn't do it gradually. It was just like one day. But I appreciate you saying that, and that's very valuable for anyone listening out there to understand that you can't just if you build a following or a people behind you and backing you for a certain thing. You can't just go from fucking one thing to the other thing like that, because then they don't identify with that. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly right. Yeah, and it's even with brands or something. You just can't shove stuff down people's throat. They got to be open to it. So I use the filter of, okay, we sell vibes, we sell good times, good vibes, to segue nicely into events, performing, stuff like that. And I dripped it to people slowly. I didn't, and then all professionals we were working with behind the scenes, like, put it on your Instagram, you guys are DJs, put it says, change it to BreadGang DJ, change it, put up stuff to see that you're DJs so we can sell these shows straight away. I'm like, that's going to kill the brand. It'll damage the brand. I mean, it's hard because there's still no one in the market who's doing what we're doing, who's actually out there partying with these people. Like
the only guy I know is an English guy I know in Sydney called Olan Tekers, which is he goes out and he interviews people, but he doesn't do it on the scale of what you boys are doing it at. So you boys are doing full tours where you got 30 dates all around in these outback towns, and you just go town to town to town to town to town. I mean, that is some pretty serious. You've even done the UK, haven't you? Same
thing. We did 16 biggest cities in the UK in 25 days. In middle of winter, slept in a car. Cars are tiny in the UK.
Yeah, horrible.
We're sleeping like this. I'm sleeping in the boot. Cam slept in the passenger seat. You couldn't even sleep in the driver's seat because the steering wheel's too close. Like you can in Australia. But yeah, in the UK, it was crazy. To be fair, the middle of winter was brutal for filming, but that's good for sleeping because, if you haven't got much room, that's good. You can get rugged up nicely.
Yeah. So you went around the whole UK, 25 cities in the UK?
The whole UK, but the UK is about as big as from here to Brisbane. It was easy, man. It's funny because we were in London. Okay, I was staying at my cousin's house. It must have been Thursday or something. We started filming London, and then I was like, we just wanted to go to Newcastle. We were just so excited to go to Geordie Town.
Yeah.
And that's like up the other end. That's like the
you're talking
northeast,
3.5, 4 hour drive.
Yeah. And it's funny because it didn't make sense on the schedule. Then I'm like, wait, we can do zigzags in the UK. It doesn't matter. We can go wherever we feel like it, because a 3 hour drive to Cam and I is absolutely nothing. Like I'll do Brisbane to Melbourne easily, just in one go. It's no problem at all.
And that's like 18 hours in.
Yeah. And then if you're in like a van or something, it's like 20 because it's like something slow. That's what we've driven around the last however many years. And then so that was easy. That was so fun, but it was difficult because it was cold, and even just holding the camera, my hands are freezing cold because we don't have camera people. It's just Cam and I on the camera.
But you did really well in the UK, didn't you? In essence, you got quite a big following from the UK in that.
We had before, because it's the same thing, because they want to see it.
Yeah,
they're the same. Like it's the boys banter, it's the sesh banter. Like it's what we've lived. Like that's what the UK. The lad culture in the UK, we spoke about this the other day, the lad culture in the UK drives me to tears every time I talk about it, because I'm like, the girls in the UK get put through the ringer, man. you know that to be true, bro. It's so funny.
You can't have banter with Australian women, not the same as you can with English girls.
Yeah, well, they've been bred into it. Like, it's normal for your boyfriend to go out Friday at
I get in so much trouble
for 2 beers and come back Monday. Yeah,
I get in so much trouble here, because when you see, what people don't understand is your banter in the UK is like, you have a filthy mind because like that's just the kind of banter we have in the UK. It's very fast, it's very in your face, and it's relentless.
Yeah,
it's fucking relentless from when you're pulled out the womb and you can start speaking to the moment you leave the UK. It's just full on, all out. Everybody is fair game. Right? Everybody is fair game, and I believe that culture comes from the fact of because the UK is a harder place to get on than Australia. Australia is very like a privileged country, a very wealthy country in a lot of respects. The UK's got a lot of very rough areas, a lot of like first world poverty, as I call it.
You're on £5 an hour at Tesco and shit.
So you imagine if you're going to Tesco and earning your £8 an hour, right? You're saving up your £300 for the week. You know, you've paid your rent, your £200. You've put £50 worth of food, £20 petrol in your car, you got £30 left. These people are going out on the night out and they just want to get absolutely obliterated and have a laugh. And have a laugh because they got nothing half like, you know, 80% of the country's like that. You know? And it's just there is a lot of wealthy people in the UK as well, and a lot of middle class. But like, there's a lot of like in some of the towns that you went to in the UK, there would be a lot of people that don't earn a lot of cash that want more out of life. But the only thing that they know is banter and getting on the session because that's just their way out.
And we're gonna tour in summer, so I'm excited to see it in summer because winter was horrendous. Like it was just so quick as well. We did like 2 cities a night. So I'll drive to Liverpool, film for an hour, and then drive to Manchester. You know.
Well, summer actually in the UK is a great place to be. It really is a great place to be. Like this,
it's warm. It's delicious.
Do you know what? The hardest thing, still the hardest thing about Australia for me is like living on the Gold Coast. It goes dark at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. In England, in high summer, it goes dark at like 10, 11 at night.
100%.
It stays light till 10, 11 at night.
And then it's light at 3 a.m.
And it changes the whole vibe of the place in Europe because of the daylight. I'm serious when I say that.
100% true. 100% true. Whereas, for the middle part of Australia, it doesn't really change that much between summer and winter.
Yeah, I mean, I think Melbourne, I don't know if...
Melbourne's okay because it's quite south. Yeah,
Melbourne gets maybe till like 8 o'clock or something.
Yeah. Well, with daylight savings in Melbourne, it can get dark pretty late, like 9, maybe pushing 10, but then it's dark for longer. Because, you're right, in the middle of... I've been in London in the middle of summer, quite literally dark at 11 p.m. or still light at 11 p.m. Still like elements of light. It's almost like it doesn't quite fully go away. And then by like 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., it's sun's coming up. It actually is. It's crazy. And you're right. The whole vibe is like, what else? What's football season? Is that winter?
No, football season is in the summer. The summer is like the transfer window. So like, there's no football. I don't believe there's any football between like June and September or something like that.
So you're just left with nothing to do. Sunshine, you know.
So it's just like sunshine
and cold pints.
Yeah. So sunshine. There's like the beer gardens are like, and even if I don't drink or anything like that, but I just love being around the vibration of life. People are just a vibing high.
The atmosphere of a good beer garden. It's undefeated. It is. It's undefeated, man. A nightclub can't beat it. Nothing can beat it. A music festival. That's right up there.
That's the benefit of what you do, though. It allows you to, you know, you come here, you've set yourself up. I think you've got 1 million followers across all the platforms, haven't you? Just having these parties, having fun, and then you're aligning yourself now with brands, and these brands can, you know, alcohol brands and stuff like that, I suppose. Yeah. You can now take this product that you've created, which is just basically like we're out to have a good time product, and just drop that into America, into the UK, into some European countries, into Ibiza. Yeah. And it just works now.
Well, yeah, we've got, we're developing a European tour now. So UK European tour in the summer over there. So it's winter here. That's something I've done traditionally for the last 10 years. When it's winter here, just Northern Hemisphere, summer. I'm a summer guy. And it's comes across nicely to places. It's like, oh yeah, we're the fun guys from Australia. Do you want to have us at your venue or your event? We're playing at Oktoberfest. We're playing La Tomato Festival. Running of the Bulls, like all these like cool events type thing, and
you're just getting paid to be there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think how far you've come in such a short time. From obviously, like, I mean, did you when you were young and that, did you did you envisage yourself like being a top rapper and kind of just being a rapper?
No, that was an option. I started music, I guess, 2013. And I'm a good writer. I'm quite intelligent, like my English, math skills type thing. I was quite intelligent in high school. So musically, I don't think I'm fantastic musically, like strictly, like music theory and stuff. But yeah, I guess I learned pretty quickly that my superpower was having a go. And then I eventually failed enough times that I understood how to build a brand. So now I've got the absolute Relentless. I'll be out, we'll go all night party until 3, 4 a.m. at the club, playing a show. Then I'll be up at 8 a.m. I'll go for a 10K run. I'll get into the laptop. It's like I've got the balls to actually have a crack and really, really have a crack. And it's like people will try and bring you or dampen that any way they can. No, but like, dude, we did it on no money. We street performed. We lived in cars, vans, airplanes. We still do. We had a show the other night. We're on tour right now. So every show I go to, if I can get back to the Gold Coast, I play the show and go straight to the airport. I'll get the 6 a.m. flight, whatever town we're in. The 6 a.m. flight in Wagga to Sydney to Gold Coast. I was back on the Gold Coast. I edited that day, filmed that night. Done again. It was in Melbourne. Yeah. We played a show in Geelong. And we had a house party there as well, which was sick. So now we're getting invited to house parties. That's a whole nother story. And yeah. So, and I'll get on a plane if I can, straight back home, straight into like the editing and stuff like that. So my superpower wasn't music. It wasn't anything.
It's just relentless. You've got a relentless drive to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you're willing to put in the time to make things work. And mate, it's so important. And I think me and you both know, because we're both creators in a sense. Well, I'm trying to create a nice brand of a podcast with what I'm building.
You have created a nice brand.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
Bro. And it's like you're doing the same. And like, there's you were saying to me before this podcast when I was setting this setup, that people don't see the setup, and you're like, fuck. But if people fucking saw what goes into this, they probably would realize a lot of things from that. And it's just like, I want all you guys that listen to this podcast, that put it in your ears, to understand that nothing that I'm slowly achieving on the grind up to this, up to wherever this is going, and nothing that Juzzy is achieving is by chance. It's like, it's just one rep, and then another rep, and then another rep, and then another rep. There's no fucking magic carpet you get on. I mean, I noticed you said you went from 0 to 1 million views, but what people miss in that analogy is you went from 0 to 1 million views. But for 10 fucking years before you went to 0 to 1 million views, you went round the world, fucking in different places, trying to be a rapper, trying to do funny videos over here. That didn't work. You're learning things. You're pulling bits, pulling little bits of information from different segments of your life. And then you put it together and you put it down on a piece of paper, and then you picked something that felt right to you, and then you went into it, and that's when it went.
Success will always look. Boom! It's success. The word in itself is just boom. Success. It can't possibly be that. No, who picks up a musical instrument and is Ed Sheeran a week later? It doesn't work like that. Being known, like in my world of like numbers and like followers and like people, screaming at you, taking photos and stuff. That's gonna look instant. It has to, because it has to look impressive to an audience. But yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, but it's been said 100 times. There's just years of work into anything you see in this world. Like, I'm sure this brand didn't just decide to put out sodas one day. And anything, like your first podcast. Well, I don't know how this thing, but like, what led up to your podcasting career?
So I was in the UK, and I was in a bad place actually at the time. I was in the UK. I'd been in the UK for about 2 months, seeing my family, and I was at a crossroads in my Australian journey, so to speak, where I thought to myself, am I gonna stay here, or this, that, and the other? This was like 2019.
Yeah.
And I'd gone back to the UK. I thought, fuck Australia. I'm just not achieving what I want to achieve out there. It's 2019. So I went to the UK. I was sat in this spare room just thinking. I'd been in the UK for 6 weeks, and I thought to myself, do you know what? Always wanted to start a podcast. What's to stop me starting one today? So I just literally downloaded the Anchor app, turned the laptop on, and just spat a podcast out. Published it. Thought nothing of it.
Did you have a guest?
No.
Oh my God.
Just spat on my own. I called it like the 2020 vision. It's still on there now. And I spat this episode out. And this was like only a 12-minute episode. You can still listen to it. If you want to listen to it, guys, go listen to it. And I was in a fucking bad place then. And then I walked up. It was like that breathed some life into me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up off the floor of that spare bedroom, and I remember walking up to the kitchen, and my dad was sat there, and it was about a week or 2 weeks before I flew back to Australia, and I said to him, Dad, I've just started a podcast. He went, oh yeah. What's? I explained to him what a podcast was. He says, mate, that's you. That's you. I said, yeah. I said like, I'm gonna fucking be a top 10 podcaster. I'm gonna fucking that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking do that.
That's what you did, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you'll do that. And he encouraged me. And then I went on this path, and then obviously a few weeks back I got to like number 5. Not been at number 1 yet, but I got to number 5, and that was a big achievement. And that was a pivotal moment in my life where I learned to lean in and find my voice. And it's what I try and encourage people that listen to this podcast to do. There are times in your life when you have to, when you're going through painful moments, when you're going through times of adversity, when you're going through times where you're struggling, where you'll get an inherent feeling within yourself, and you won't be able to explain what it is or why it's there, but you'll just feel the urge or the pull to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to lean into whatever that is, and lean into that, which this was. It's like, fuck, this podcast idea it'd been stuck in my head for like 2 years, but I'd never actioned it. A lot of people talking about doing stuff that aren't doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those people in certain respects, certain elements of my life, not all parts of my life, but certain parts of my life, especially in this podcast part. That's when I leaned into that, and that's what set me on the trajectory. The funny thing was, I fly back to Australia. I leave the podcast alone. I didn't publish again, I don't think, for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I got that same feeling. I can't remember where I sat, but I remember getting that same feeling again. Like, it's time to go, Frankie. Like, this podcast thing, it's got something in it, mate. It's time for you to go with it. And then I felt that pull back into it, and then I got back into it, and then I was putting out an episode like every 1, 2, 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Consistency,
with guests. And then I was like, you know what? The only way this is going to grow, the only thing that's going to help, if I want to reach and help more people, and I want to put out the version of Frankie to the world that I know is in me,
mm-hmm.
then I have to turn up, and everyone has to know that every Monday or every Wednesday they're gonna, or whatever day you're gonna publish on, everyone needs to know that they're gonna get a podcast on that day, and then they can rely on you to provide that value for them, and boom, 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 boom. Once I did that, that's when things started to change.
Was there a pivotal episode?
I think there was a couple. So Mitchell Orville was episode. Well, there was the first pivotal episode was like Ellie Gonzalez. She was about like number 11, and then Mitchell Orville sent it off for a little jump, and then I came back down, and then it was a boom, 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 and then other episodes have like sent it up, and then recently Oscar Ledlin one went a little bit nuts, and then before that there's been other people, and I think yours will, and I think other people's will, but it's just my advice to people, and I don't know whether this will be your advice too, and we'll get to that, but my advice is, don't look so much at analytics and expecting success. I mean, whatever you pick to do, whether it's this e-commerce brand that you want to do, whether it's, you know, a clothing brand, whether you want to do comedy online, whether you want to grow your TikTok, whatever, set yourself a goal of like just putting out the reps rather than the goal of the analytics and the followers and the likes and the subscribers. Because I looked at the analytics today, and I was like, oh, I want more than that. And I was like, why am I looking at the analytics for? The analytics don't even really fundamentally matter as long as you're enjoying what you're doing.
Oh, that's so completely true. Of course it is. Now, as a business, of course, you can be tempted, and I mean, you have to maybe analyze some things, but of course, you can't. It's unsustainable if you're not doing something you enjoy. Like of a scale, like, well, I know how much work you put into this. I know how much work we put into what we do. It's like, if you hate it, you're not going to do it for long. So build something you like. Build something you like. Trust in what you're building, and it might take a long time to hit. It may never hit. Some things just don't hit. But I'm so proud of so many projects I've done that didn't maybe hit publicly.
But you learned something.
I learned something, and I enjoyed it, and I moved forward in life, and I can look. Oh man, the coolest thing about creating is looking back on stuff. Looking back on the times you had, the things you did. It's like it's a piece of art that remains there forever, and it's like, that's one of the coolest feelings. Like when I look back on some of the first videos we made, I'll look at them just like, oh my god. And like 2 years ago, and I look at myself like I was a child. I had no idea what was going on 2 years ago, and in 2 years more from now, I'll think the same thing. So yeah, you don't obsess over. Don't obsess over gross things like numbers. You can't constantly, because it's unsustainable and you just live a miserable life. Just enjoy what you're doing. I think, yeah.
If you were going to give someone advice then on how they can find what is the most enjoyable pursuit for them, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that's a really good question, because how do you know where you're going to get the most value out of? It's a personal thing.
You got to try things, haven't you?
You got to try things. If you don't know, you have to try things. If you're still young,
this is what I've identified from you and your journey. It's the fact that you've tried hundreds of things to come to this culmination, even to find the culmination of videos that work for you, and the way that they're structured to get the most out of them in terms of like the growth. Even that's a journey in itself. Like, let alone finding the concept of even filming videos in the first place. I mean, you started off fucking rapping and traveling the world and just being yourself and just learning who you were.
I'll tell you what I think I can add value to people's day. I'll tell you one thing I learned that people are terrible at. Don't complain about the sphere you're in. Don't complain about like the market sets prices. Audiences have control over everything. I think people complain about the place they're in sometimes, just because they feel entitled to something, to a level of success or something like that. When I'm making music, I couldn't tell you how many times I'm like, I've got the next big song, I've got it. It's such a funny conversation I had between musicians. And then that sinking feeling after you release it, and just nothing, no one cares, no one shared it, no one's praising you. And so many people will say to me, oh, that was it, man. Like, and they'll put it on something else. And it's like, no, your art just might not be up to the standard yet. Just keep going, keep moving. It's a really bad thing, and I guess men can be pretty like sooky about like a female's preference or something like that. It's the female's always going to be right with their preference. Who are you to tell them what they should like? Oh, the classic.
Mate, 100%. There's not a woman in the world that doesn't pick who she wants to be with. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But
they choose you. You don't choose them. You never choose them. You never choose them. And even if you think you choose them, that's not fucking true. That's just your ego. Like,
that's funny.
Like, you got to remove your ego from that. At the end of the day, you just got to put yourself in the best position possible, the best shape, the best socially accepted, the best whatever.
And that's for everything that you do. Yeah. For everything that you do.
For every part of you. And not only that, be comfortable. Most men and women, we've all got to learn to be more comfortable in ourselves. Once you're at your most comfortable point, once you've done the inside work, once you're pursuing the stuff that you should be pursuing in your life, that's when she'll pop up and pick you out and be like, right.
Yeah, that's when opportunities across the board arise. Just try and find peace on the inside and just rock, just live, go do what you want to do. Like, there's not much to complain about in this world. I know there is, and that can come across insensitive, but if I'm having a difficult day or a difficult week or a difficult month, I constantly, and I mean constantly, literally remind myself, I'm so lucky to be able to even feel negative emotions. People are so ungrateful, and it's easy to shoot someone down like me who's, oh yeah, because you've succeeded or you've done this. I wouldn't even call what I've done success yet. I don't know what. There's almost no such thing as success because it never ends. You actually never get to a point where you're like, yeah, sick. I've done it. No, you don't get to there. Like, it's absolute chaos 24/7 forever. It's trying to build something new, find some new mountain to chase, new peak to new heights to reach. Like,
do you know what I've realised?
People are ungrateful, I think.
Do you know what I've realised about success? Success is a perception that someone else gives from the external gives of your life and your position.
That's a good call. Yeah,
right.
Interesting.
All success is a perception from someone who's outside of you that they put on the fact that you're successful. So let me give you an example. The cleaner could think the fucking supervisor is successful because they're a supervisor and they're a cleaner, right? But it's outside perception. It's outside perception. It's not that the supervisor thinks the manager is successful, right? But when I asked when you ask the manager, are you successful? No. The business owner is successful, not me. Okay, the business owner now. No, because my mate's got a multinational cleaning company, right? Success, you on a personal level, you personally can't ever have success because you'll never think that what you have is successful. It's always external. Because for you to have success, you have to have comparison. And do you know what I mean?
I took the mic away because I didn't want to stop you on that roll. Yeah, bro, that was the realest shit ever you said. And you're always going to be able to compare yourself to someone else who's doing better. Always. Easily.
Yeah, it's just that's what I've literally, the penny just dropped with me when you said that. It's like we're all in the pursuit of what we perceive as success.
Mm-hmm.
But when we get there, guess what?
Nothing changes.
It's never where we were looking, because success is something that's always 10 meters of where you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like you said. It's like when you said to me, you're doing well. But like to me, I'm like I'm doing nothing, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? To me, like I am, but it's like because you always naturally want to evolve. Like, you imagine if you get to number one in Australia and your videos were like a smash hit in Australia, which they are. Then you go to UK and you're number 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to the top of the UK. There's another mountain. There's America over there.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Number one's never even number one. You're always number one in your category.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There's no such thing as number one. You know, I'm sure the richest person alive envies the fifth richest person alive for something they're doing that they haven't done. Like, you don't win. You don't win life. That's what people don't get sometimes. I think.
We'll put it this way: you're not gonna leave. You can't win life because you have to die.
Yeah,
we all die. We all check out. And guess what? Every fucking possession that you've got that you put emotional attachment into, whether it be your car, whether it be a watch, whether it be a bag, whether it be fucking you getting your nails done, all of that shit doesn't matter because you can't take none of it with you, and you're going to end up in the same box, in the same soil, or cremated in the same ground, and we all return to the soil. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like you can't get it. So you got to take so from what I'm trying to get you all to understand, and what I think Juzzy's trying to put across to you as well, is the fact that, like, if we all end up in the same space and it doesn't really matter, why do you need to put the pressure on yourself all the time to get what is externally perceived as success but will never be perceived as success for you?
So true. And I'll add to what you're saying. So a conversation I have had with people in the past, because I actually got an answer to that question. So people who care about me, you seem like the type of guy, especially just from your content and stuff, and just me knowing you personally now, that goes in like deep, does some deep work on yourself and your soul, you know, whichever way you describe it, I don't know, but you understand what I'm saying. I remember people asking me like, why are you chasing like fame? You know what I mean? Like, why are you and I'm like, this is a surface level answer, but it actually, maybe it runs pretty deep because it's a good answer. And my answer is, I literally have nothing better to do. it doesn't matter. I don't care if people take a photo of me on the street. Like I'm so like grateful when I meet people who want to like who appreciate what we do and say, "Oh, you lift me up." I always laugh at your stuff. That's so cool. I get no like value from going, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm cool." I literally, we're on a spinning rock and I've got nothing better to do. I just want to do some funny shit. I will literally just want to jump on stages and crowd surf because it's like, why not? I've got an opportunity to do it, so do it. And it's difficult to have like built this shit. It's super difficult, but we've done it now, you know, and it's sick. And it's something I've experienced that I wouldn't have experienced if I didn't put, 5-10 years of difficult like journeying in type thing. So yeah, well, that's an answer to what you're saying. It's like we've got nothing better to do, but it's like people think, there's like a finish line. There's no finish line. Just go and achieve things, go and do things, go and live life, go laugh, go have a freaking giggle, go do something that's difficult because it's funner than doing something that's not difficult. I tell you what, it's so much funner. It's so much funner. This sounds fucked. It's so much funner, like being disappointed from trying and failing, and that's not a fun feeling, than it is not trying.
Yeah, but
you don't fail, but you didn't even try. You get no like.
But this is the thing, right? And that's something I want to challenge you on. Is like, who determines whether it's a failure or not? Because there's no such thing as a failure either. And let me explain why. In essence, in your career, you went to America, you tried lots of things. In your mind, they didn't work and they were a failure, right? At this moment in time. Here's why that's not true. Because everything that you learned and the skills that you picked up from trying and you perceived failing, you put all those skills together and created 0 to 1 million fucking views in 7 days, right? Which you perceive as some form of success. So, which also doesn't truly exist. Yeah. In essence. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh man, it's a fantastic point. It's like, and you're spot on.
It's like we put ourselves on a straight line with failure here and success here, right?
Yeah.
And we fucking make out like somewhere along this line, everything that we do in life lands somewhere along this fucking line. And I'm here to tell you, it's absolute fucking shit. Because you could take this fucking thing where you tried this video and it landed here and you perceive it to be a failure. But the skills you learned from that could make this over here what you perceive to be a success. So success and failure at both ends of the spectrum don't fucking matter. What matters in life, what fucking truly matters, and what I've only really fucking felt into the last 3 months is does it make you fucking happy?
Yeah.
Does it light you up? Can you put your fucking passion in it? Can you turn up and do the reps? Can you fucking Can you do this? It's like, I was doing a whole stream of e-commerce podcasts. They were going down great, doing really well on the analytics, this, that, and the other. But then I thought to myself, nah, I want to talk to a few more creators. I want to talk to a few different people. I want to talk to a few people that do funny shit. I want to talk to these other people. I don't want to pigeonhole myself as just the e-commerce podcast. So I pulled back out of it. It'd been quite easy to ride the wave and just ride that niche and do this and that. And we will go back into that. But it's important that this podcast gives people a full spectrum of content that they can look into and kind of pull bits out of. Like, and your experience allows that to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's so, just honestly, guys, if it doesn't light you up or it doesn't give you a feeling of like fucking of some form of purpose within yourself that makes you get up out of bed in the morning and feel kind of alive, that tells you everything you need to know. And the success and failure things at the end of each spectrum is kind of like inconsequential. Is inconsequential because we all get.
Bro, you put things into words so well. That's cool. The straight line thing. Yeah. This is why podcast as well. That's valuable. That's so valuable to me. That's like what you just said. Oh my God. Spot on, dude. I like that.
I hope it helps people because it's only where I'm only talking into where I've struggled myself. Because I don't have, me and you don't pretend to have anything fucking sorted. Like we're both we don't. We're just trying our best, don't we?
Oh, your apartment's pretty ordered. I'll give you that. So I think you got stuff. You see my apartment. So we have the exact same. We actually live in the same building,
right,
and we have the exact same apartment. And you walk in, you got some nice like artwork, you know, some inspirational stuff. It's so like, it's what you would expect from Frank. It's actually what I would expect from you. Walk into my apartment. It's probably what you expected from me before the start of this podcast. Like now I've been talking about building a brand and like, okay, yeah, Juzzy's not that dumb. No, I'm not. But it's chaos. There's first of all, the whole lounge room living area, the couches are flipped up and there's a half pipe there, roughly built by me.
So you created a skateboard half pipe in the lounge. Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube. I think it's impressive. It got a few views. People liked it and stuff. They're criticizing me every which way, as they should, because I'm not with tools and stuff like that. I've never been on the tools or anything. But yeah, I just got up one day. I was like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna build a half pipe. And then I didn't look up I didn't Google anything. I didn't look up a YouTube video. I'm just like, I'm gonna use my mathematical brain. I'm like, I can see it, and I'm gonna go to Bunnings, pick up the wood, and then I did. And so it's not that fucking hard, really. You just cut out bits of wood, curve it, lay some slats, and drill some plywood into it. But yeah, I succeeded that. So yeah, that was cool.
What views did that video do at the end?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, to be fair. It's just like a segment of a video, so I can't even remember what videos it's in, to be fair.
When was the last time you had to go on it?
Oh, I can't skate. It's too steep. I built it too steep for me. I've never skated before. I can skate on the concrete. Maybe do an ollie or something.
This just shows how creative you are. You wake up one day and you think, oh no, I'm going to build a half pipe in the lounge. Whereas me, I looked after my mate's dog the other week and it left hair on the floor and I was gutted.
Beside yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
oh man, we could never be roommates. I promise you that. You would do terribly with me. I try to be ordered. I'm not too bad. You know, I'm not too bad. My bedroom's in order. My bedroom looks like your apartment. Yeah. It's not too bad. But
I just think you got to be always prepared to have visitors, and especially in this environment, like when people are coming around.
You're prepared. I'm fucking not.
Yeah, but I've got to be prepared. Like I'm trying to create Australia's fucking best fucking podcast has ever been, like in history. Like you know, because I have women on the podcast. You can't have a woman turn around here and you live in there's a fucking half pipe in your house.
I tell you what, females, wouldn't fare well in my apartment.
They judge real fucking quick.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's true, mate. First, this is why I wanted to get you on here because and talk into like the marketing elements and stuff like that. It's because you know people will judge her because of the colour of your hair, because of the nature of your content that's out there in the world.
They won't judge you.
Yeah. What?
With the colour of your hair.
Yeah, but yeah. Fucking my hair went long ago, bro. Honestly.
Did it?
Yeah. 2013, bro. Yeah. 2012.
I didn't know if you were losing it because it looks like you still got it all, to be fair.
No, it was going in the central crown here. And it's going
okay.
So basically it looked like a beach with the tide gone out. Right, or it looked like a worn-out penalty spot on a fucking rugby field. Yeah, so like I kind of had to get rid of it, man. And you kind of have to embrace who you are. But you're gonna join me soon, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I mean I can't stand this. Well, we were in the sauna yesterday, and then it was pissing down rain, and then you and the fellow you were with were like, let's go in the pool, do the hot cold.
I was trying to get Juzzy into the hot cold plunge.
Yeah, and I did, but I was like, the reason I didn't want to do it is because it's going to wet my hair, and I don't have a hairdryer. My hair takes like 3 days to dry.
I'll lend you a hairdryer. I've got a spare hairdryer.
Dude, I was literally going to text you this morning saying, do you have a hairdryer? Because my hair is wet and smells like fucking wet carpet.
Yeah, I have a hairdryer. Don't ask me why.
Why do you have a hairdryer? We're really covering an array of topics on this podcast.
I know, mate, but okay, before we go, let's leave them with like.
You want to hear some stories?
Yeah, go on then. Give us your best story from you, being as you brought it up.
I'm just thinking of like some stuff we've been good amongst. Because, yeah, I mean, I do both. I live both lives well, as in like we get crazy as well. We go nuts. I know how to build a brand, and like I have a desk, but I also. I also jump through tables and like
I love how you justify building a brand by having a desk.
That's a big thing for me. You know, I had not had a place since 2017. I had a place. We had an apartment. We 4 of us lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and built bunk beds. Yeah. So that's not even having a place anyway. That was chaos.
It sounds like fucking life in fucking England, that does.
Yeah, it pretty much was. But it was on the Gold Coast, so nice and sunny. Yeah, I got this place. Excuse me. I got this place a few floors under you in November. apart from that, we lived in buses, planes, cars for the whole of BreadGang. That's the other thing. That's interesting, I guess.
So
saying
this is your first time. So
me having a desk is a fucking big deal, right?
Yeah. So
that's why everything, like this year, everything's gone like this.
How do you structure your days these days? Do you structure it at all? Do you have any structure at all, like in terms of like?
No, I wouldn't say structure. I just have I have reminders in my phone. Oh,
Right.
like you have this podcast. Oh, you have a meeting. Oh, you have to take this phone call. That's as structure as I get. But I wake up. I run. I do like running. And I had a gym membership, but it's too hard because we're always traveling. So it's like you can always pack your runners and run somewhere.
Yeah.
So that just keeps me sane, I guess.
So running to you is like, obviously I meditate and do breathwork, but running to you is like your form of meditation.
Fully, 100%.
So when you're running and you're out there in the zone, is that when you're at your most creative in terms of like thinking of new ideas? Because you just like.
No, I would say it's more spiritual. If I would say,
yeah.
It's just, No, I feel better good after it. Then after it, I'm like at peace. It's such a primal thing. Like you just run and you're just so tired, but you keep running. So it's kind of just a reminder that just keep going through life. Like it's just like it's a fucking 1 hour metaphor. It just reminds you to just keep going. Doesn't matter one foot after the other. Like. This is so cliche, but it's so true. Like, it's just, you just lift your legs and you just keep lifting them and you want to stop and your body makes every excuse to stop, but you finish it off. You just do it.
But that's a metaphor for the growth as well, for what you're experiencing. Because, and for anyone out there who wants to take action from today and go and pursue what really lights you up, it's just one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Right. Remove success and failure from both ends of this line that you've put out in the school system teaches you success and failure because they assess you on pass, fail and merit and all that kind of stuff at school. So they teach you that you have to like pass and succeed. They teach you this. But they don't encapsulate why it's good to also trip over sometimes and learn because from that learning you can take that and apply that with that and put that together and create something that's this, that, and the other. I think it's very important that people remove what the school system's taught in a lot of ways. Other than maths and English, the school system's fucking useless.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah. Maths, English, and some scientific stuff. The school system's useless because it just teaches people that to cram in a certain amount of information into a time to take a test, to pass a test. What does that really ultimately achieve?
I've never formed an opinion on it, but that's an interesting point you make. Yeah,
you don't get a lot from that. You're just being taught that to get through life. So there's plenty of people that listen to this that might be lawyers or real estate agents or something, or doctors or nurses, and they didn't actually want to be a fucking lawyer or a doctor. They were just like, well, it seems like a good idea, and my mum and my dad society's pressured me into that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cram for this test, and then I've passed my first bit of doctor test, and I'm cram for this, and I've passed my second bit of lawyer test, and they cram all, they learn and cram. They're not really fucking interested. They're just doing it to cram, and that's that. You're literally taking the school system, then you're taking it into the university life, then you're taking that into real life, and then you approach the whole of real life like that, and that's why everything becomes then win or lose, success or failure.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's such an interesting. As I said, I've never formed an opinion on that before. That's cool. That's interesting. Point of view, definitely. Yeah, because you're right. We do. It is a pass or fail. It is like that's what schooling is, and that's how you kind of come to life. And then that's not really right. It's not really correct in the real world.
Yeah, everything you taught up until the age of 18 doesn't really apply to the real world. I mean, when was the last time you used Pythagoras' theory on fucking in the
when
real
I built
world?
the half pipe.
How did that go for you?
No, I just guessed everything.
If you'd studied Pythagoras a lot more, you could have got the angle right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't have fucked it.
No, I fucked the angle and people were roasting me in my inbox, as they should, all the tradies and shit, because I was using the wrong saw to cut the circular, and it was really fucking hard. So I definitely fucked. I
You're
didn't have
using
the
a circular saw to cut the curve. You know I'm a carpenter by trade, don't you?
No, you're not. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You're looking at me like, you idiot.
Nah, so I
was trying to.
I was a carpenter by trade.
Yeah, I used the other saw to cut it, and then I mean, it's fine. To be fair, I got the curve I wanted. I just didn't really map it out that well. I think it's too steep, maybe. I'm not sure. And I need I needed it, and then I layered it with another layer of plywood.
See,
then,
we all need to be like Juzzy, because Juzzy sat here. He's earning money. His videos are out there making people laugh as we speak. He sat here talking about his half pipe in his fucking lounge, right? And he doesn't have a care in the world. This guy, like, it does. This is why I like you, because you're such a free spirit, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I have cares in the world, but yeah, well, like I said earlier in the podcast, I just remind myself constantly that there's no ego attached to anything I do. Like, just live, just experience things, and that's good. It makes it easy, because you don't care about people's opinions, and you just try and do what feels right that day without destroying your future, if that makes sense. So you can't. I love that. I can't just have a go on crystal meth or something, because that'll fuck the future up. So I guess that's the worst way to put it. But that's really nice, and that gives that. Sorry, I'm like stuttering, because that explodes my brain that you say doesn't have a care in the world, because of course I do. And then, but it's like, but yeah, I just roll. I don't mean life,
it. I don't even mean it in like a disrespectful way. Or
no. I take it as a full compliment. I love it.
I just love the way that you're free spirited, and your freedom of expression has allowed you success, because you weren't afraid to try.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that's what I've learned from you, is the fact that if you just are just unafraid and unjudgmental on self, because that's what that's another gift that you have.
That's something I'll give. I do that really well.
You don't judge yourself by how you look, or judge yourself for perceived success or failure or anything like that. You don't judge yourself for anything. You're just like, this sounds like a wicked idea. I'm gonna try it, and you get excited. And you remember all of you. Here's something for you all to listen to, right? This is why I'm getting more creators on the podcast as well. It's like, I was getting far too fucking serious, right? And and I thought to myself the other day, I was speaking to the Call to Be Conscious boys, and I was like, when do we stop playing? When do we stop? When does that stop? It doesn't, does it? It doesn't have to stop. Like, life's a game. You're meant to play. You're meant to play your whole life. But we're taught as a society that when we get to a certain point of adulthood, we've got to grow up.
Oh, don't do that.
But that's boring.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm trying to constantly breathe that youth and enjoyment and all that stuff. And it's like, some people like you, some people won't. But just have a laugh.
Have a go. Just remind yourself, we're on a spinning rock. Just constantly remind yourself we're dust on a spinning rock. It's just complete stupidity that we're alive.
Yeah.
Just live. Just be best. It's hard, because you say that, and I just think, okay, it's not that easy for some people. I understand it's not that easy. It wasn't that easy for me all the time either. But you just, every day is the first day of the rest of your life. So just get on with it. Like, find something you like. Go after it. Get after it.
Do you ever find yourself dwelling on anything that's happened to you in your past, or thinking about too much into your future, or do you live most of your life presently?
I'm not going to get into it, and it's not like a major bombshell, but only one thing. Yeah, only one thing ever. But
what, in past or future?
Past.
Yeah.
Only one thing ever, ever in my whole entire life.
What, that troubles you?
Yeah.
And what is it about that troubles you so much?
When you think you're going one place in life, and then life goes, no, what the heck? This is absolutely not the direction you're going in. And it's just like, I was just like, whoa, holy shit. But that's not like career or anything. That's like, probably unpack what I'm saying, but I can't bother.
I can unpack it, but I want to say something to you.
Okay.
If life was meant to be how you thought it was meant to be, it would be that way. Do you know what I mean? Like you are. And this goes to everyone that listens to this right now, as well as you, Juzzy. It's like, wherever you are, in whatever position you're in the right place. You're right where you're meant to be, where you're supposed to be. Because you fucking are there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. The thing is that like life chooses that for you, which is so funny. And it's cool. It's like,
there's a lesson in everything.
Yeah.
There's a lesson in everything.
Oh my God. Totally true. Yeah. And it's funny because, yeah. It's life just gets you good sometimes, you know? Yeah. But apart from that, and honestly, I'm making it sound way more dramatic than it is, dude. Yeah, I'll just be present all the time, as present as I can be, which is pretty good, I guess.
I suppose one thing I've learned myself is the fact that I always look for what life's trying to teach me in that moment, even when I perceive it to be bad. It's like, think of how many people you've known that have had the most beautiful girlfriends and they've lost them and then perceive it to be a bad thing, and then all of a sudden they meet this beautiful, elegant woman and they have 2 kids with her, and it's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't gone through that, then they wouldn't have got this. And it's just like everything that's happening to you, all the people that you're meeting in your life, all the opportunities that come and go from your life, they're all there for a moment to teach you something about yourself. You have to, as a human being, have to look inward and understand that there is a lesson within every relationship you have, a lesson within every person that you meet in, with every opportunity you're offered. There's a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned, and you're there to get that lesson, to understand it, and then to apply it to your life to make your life more powerful and move forward. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Every experience you go through, there's always more positives than negatives, no matter how negative the experience was. I dare say the more negatives there are in the experience, because you learn from negative emotion. You don't learn from positive emotion. You take positive emotion for granted.
So there's people out there that have a massive amount of following and a massive amount of impact in the world that had massively fucked up adverse things happen to them in their childhood. Right?
Yeah.
Right? However, on the back of that adversity, which you'd perceive as a negative back then, which it was in a certain respect, and it was not the best thing for them at the time. Mm-hmm. But what it's led to, it's led to them empowering millions of people, to writing books, to standing on stages, to earning a phenomenal amount of wealth, from having a transformation in self, to learn forgiveness, and all this other stuff's come off the back of what they would have perceived as a negative, as a failure, as something in the past. And that is the epitome of what life means to me. It's like that's why you should always seek to look and learn the lesson that's in everything that touches you.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, would you say your experience? You like meditate and stuff?
Yeah, meditate.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably a good person to ask dumb questions because.
Go on then.
So, which other people who don't meditate or are interested in it?
Dumb is a perception. Because
Okay.
because all this is yeah, no. Dumb, right? You're planting the seed that you're dumb because you're asking a question. If I don't know a question, if I don't know the answer to a question and I ask the question, it's not because I'm dumb, it's because I don't know the answer to the question.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point.
It's just ask away, bro. You don't have to label yourself.
No, for sure.
I'm stopping this because the reason I'm stopping.
We're doing some deep work.
No. The reason I'm stopping you doing it, Juzzy, is because everyone that listens to this podcast also does it too, right?
Yeah.
Right, in different parts of their life that don't even realize it. The reason I'm fucking stopping you is because people don't realize the patterns in their voice and the way they speak about themselves and the way that they put labels on themselves disempower them to take action going forward.
Yeah.
So every time I hear someone disempower himself with a label that doesn't mean fucking shit, I go pattern interrupt, boom, 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 and then I stop them with it because I want people to stop it when I do it as well. We all do it.
You know what I like about you? Everything. But on top of that, you're so willing to teach. You're so willing to share a perspective. I think. So the day we met. We had like a 40-minute conversation.
Yeah, something like
straight away. Like we met in the elevator, yeah?
Yeah.
And then
I ended up getting out on your floor.
You got out on my floor and we just stood there and you just shared so much knowledge with me. I gave you everything I have back. And it was just a conversation, just like this podcast. Yeah. It was a very similar conversation, I dare say. And it was like, I don't know, people always like, when people ask me questions, like fans or like small, like, creators, like, excuse me, upcoming creators, I will give them absolutely everything. I will give you whatever you want. Send me an inbox, throw me out. How much, like, for the sake of, like, not if someone's nosy, that's annoying. But like, for the sake of like, oh, how do I do this? Like, oh, how much money can you earn doing this? I'll just lay it out. There's like, you don't hoard knowledge. Well, that's why you have a podcast. You know what I mean? Because you got, and that's why your podcast does well, because you have something to offer. And I like what you said about people are stuck in patterns about the way they talk and the way they talk about themselves. That is so true. I've broke so many patterns over the last like couple years since starting BreadGang. Like so many like negative patterns. That's why I kind of like, I tell myself, I'll get myself into positive patterns like running or something like that. If I wake up, it's like, that's like something that you don't feel like doing, but you just have to do. You know what I mean? And so the same can be on the contrary. Something you feel like doing. So if people struggle with addiction or something like that, addiction's a bit deeper than this, but like just a negative, like a bad ritual you have, or maybe you like fast food too much or something. If you can break these things, I don't know. You probably have better numbers for stuff like this, what I'm talking about. So you're probably better versed on this. But it's like you can break stuff like lifelong bad habits. I don't know. 21 days. Let's chuck that out there. Don't do something for 21 days, break the habit. Like how quick can you heal from like a smoking addiction, for example? Like I don't have the answer.
Well,
but
in the physical from smoking, I think your lungs can fucking heal in like 12 months.
Yeah, I love hearing shit like that because you can undo just so much damage to yourself whether it's physical, you know, whether you're overweight or something like that, whatever you want to change about yourself. I love the positive message of it's changeable. I love when people say things like, and this is completely like not accurate. Like, yeah, your cravings go away in 3 weeks. You know, your lungs return to normal in 6 months. Your health improves in 12 months. It's like you can take anything negative in your life and just flip it around, because it's scary when you don't have like a timeline. It's scarier when it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like I broke myself out of so many shitty patterns in my like adult life, in my short adult life. And it's just, that's like makes me, when you look back and you go, I broke it. Once you, where would I go? Once you like break something once, you just like, oh my God.
You can break all these different habits in your life.
Dude, habits like absolutely will just take your whole life from you, shitty habits, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not, I'm not talking about the just destructive ones, because I'm just not like well versed in that area. I don't understand addiction and stuff like that. That's just obviously scary in general. But yeah, like just break those little habits first and you can just build an empire. It starts there.
And it all starts with your habits.
Yeah, and the little patterns, the way you talk about yourself. But
here's something for a lot of you out there that want to figure out what your habits are, and kind of, you know, you might want your life to take a certain path, and you might not feel it's taking that path at the moment, and you might be trying to figure out what your habits are. I tell you where you find all your habits, right?
Where?
In your Google search history and in your bank account. Right, your bank account will tell you everything that you're purchasing. You can't and put them. That allows you to go through and identify everywhere you spend money in life, and then you can look at it objectively and ask yourself, do you want to spend money in those areas? Then you've got your Google search that will tell you everything that's hitting your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. And your screen time will also tell you. And then you can ask yourself, do I want to spend all this time on these apps? Do I want to spend all my time on these websites? You know, and you can iron out where you're going in life by looking at those three data points. Those 3 data points will tell you everything that you need to know about yourself and what your habits are. Yeah, because where you're spending money, you're spending attention.
Yeah, interesting.
And if you want to truly assess where you're going and map out a trajectory, the first place I'd assess is my bank account.
Yeah.
Because that tells me everything I need to know about it.
And it's so funny.
Because if I want to get my diet right,
mm-hmm.
I don't go on fucking MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I go to my bank account. How many times am I having Nando's? How many times am I buying Diet Coke? How many times am I buying donuts? How many times, where's my money going? Right? How the fuck am I getting the food to get fat, right? Or to get overweight, right? Unless I'm paying for it. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Right?
For sure.
The bank account tells you everything you need to know about your whole life and what you value as a human being.
That's so true. Because as you said that, like your Google search and your bank account and stuff.
Yeah.
Screen time, that's a good one as well. You can't avoid those things. Those things, they're real.
Well, that's just it though. You can't, but you can. Because because you can't ignore it when you present yourself with the data.
Yeah.
But how many people that listen to this podcast are willing to present themselves with the data?
Exactly right.
So what I'm saying to everyone who listens to this is, if you do want to break a habit like Juzzy says, or get your habits in line so that you can achieve more and you can get along the trajectory of what you want to go down, if that is genuinely what you want to do, look at your bank account. It will tell you everything about yourself, and you can't lie to yourself. Because everything you spend money on is where you perceive value to be. And then ask yourself the question, do you value 6 McDonald's a week? Do you value buying fucking trainers just to look a certain way? Do you value Balenciaga? Do you actually fucking value the Rolex and all this stuff? Do you fucking value that? It all came out of one place. That's your bank account. Look at that bank account, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about your life and where you're going.
You smashed me with the Macca's one. My diet sucks.
But if you looked at your bank account, you could see where it was going wrong, right?
No, yeah. And it's because it's something you know. It's something you know already. Like, you really ask yourself, hey, where do I suck? You really got to ask yourself and want to know the answer. You'll get an answer out of yourself. So if you don't ask those questions and you don't look, like what you're saying is, like, you need to go, yeah, I love it, because you flick through your bank account, you know where you suck already. Go look at it. Look, stare it in the face. But
here's the thing. People think they know where they're falling down, but their perception of where they're falling down and where they're actually falling down when they look at the bank account are often two separate fucking things.
Okay.
Right? Because humans have an inherent ability of building up certain things to be their problems in life, when really they've got other problems in life.
Mm-hmm.
And all your problems can literally be seen on the cash flow statement, right? On where your money's going. You see all your problems, man. You literally see all your problems. Like, majority of them. Obviously, some of them you can't be identified from that, but I would start there.
Yeah.
Then I'd look at the search history. Then I'd look at the screen time, what apps I'm spending it on. Now you've got a full picture on you can put it on an A4 bit of paper, and you'd be like, right, I'm spending 30% of my money eating out at restaurants. I'm spending 20% of my money on this, that, and the other. I'm spending 10% of my money on alcohol.
How many hours a day are you spending?
I'm spending 5 hours a day on Instagram
content.
Yeah, and I'm not a creator. I'm a consumer of content.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well. Are you a consumer or are you a creator?
Yeah.
Are you going on the platforms to post, to put content to the world that's valuable, or are you going on to consume other people's content? That's totally different things as well.
So true.
And it's like, once you map out all that, you can really start to get into the weeds of where you think your life is fucking up, right?
Yeah.
And your life, can I just say, as a caveat to that, your life is never fucking up. Right, we're all on a fucking journey here, and none of us, not even me, have it fucking 100% correct. I'm just saying that if you want to start getting things a bit more in alignment for yourself, if you start in those 3 places, that is the best place for you to start, and start there before you start to look at diets, or start to look at things, because that gives you the whole picture, because you can see it, you can fucking see it, and I just want to touch upon, because I did stop you on this point, because you were putting negative words around it, but you're going to ask me some questions about meditation.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. My instincts just went straight into, like, announcing I'm done on the topic again, and you already shut me down. Let me break that habit. Let me break that pattern right now.
Because you're asking, you're going to ask me questions that probably a lot of people want to ask, but are too scared to ask.
Yeah, because
for fear of judgment, mate.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
We've all got it. We've all get this fear of judgment. Forget about it. Ask me the question.
Okay. So meditation. Do you physically sit in, like, with your eyes closed, like, style?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Here's where people get meditation wrong, right? People think that meditation is where you have to be all woke, have to sit in the middle of a room and go home and start to.
I could meditate in your house.
Yeah, start to make it into something that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation to some people, I mean, before I meditated, right? Before I meditated in terms of, like, the way that I know now, I believe I've always meditated, and I believe you meditate already. I believe meditation for you is your run. And I believe meditation for me when I was back in England was boxing, and was running as well, and stuff like that, and training. Meditation is essentially where you go to a place and you're doing something and you love doing that something, but because you're doing that something and you're so interested in that, your mind just goes and you just let your mind go and it wanders and and when your mind wanders, it comes back with answers that you never knew to questions that you were asking, that you're struggling with, but then it just comes back and pings you an answer, right?
Oh my God.
Right? Yeah? So bear with me.
That's so powerful.
Right? So bear with me, yeah? So as soon as I understood, as soon as meditation got explained to me in that way, and I started to understand, okay, now I get it. Now I start to fundamentally get it. I started to practice it with breathwork and meditation. So I don't go and sit on the floor in complete silence. Sometimes I meditate with music. Sometimes I meditate on cues to breathwork. But I get myself into a state, and it just allows my mind to go free. And essentially what I'm doing is allowing my mind to go off, and then all the unanswered questions that you put out to the world, you find yourself answers just start popping into your head. You start to raise your consciousness level, you start to raise your energy vibrations as a person, you start to attract more different people into your life.
Yep.
It's a great practice that everyone should be into daily. And it literally starts. People are like, well, how long should I meditate for? Well, if most people who say they can't meditate should meditate for at least 30 minutes, but let's just focus on being practical here. If you've never meditated before, try for 5 minutes, then try for 6, then try for 7, then try for 8, then build it up to 20, then build it up to 15, then build it up. Mm-hmm. It's like there's many apps out there that will help you, guide you through a 3 minute, a 5 minute, 7 minute. You don't have to know how to meditate. I could sit and meditate and do breathwork for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, no problem now. But I had labelled myself, because they labelled me ADHD at school. I took that label that they'd given me and I'd worn it like a badge of honour.
Damn.
Right? Yeah. I took that label of disruptive and ADHD, and I took that label on me, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to wear that and I'm going to carry it around with me like a fucking stone in a bag. And every time someone said, you should do meditation, you should do this, you should do that, I'd say, no, I can't do that because I've got ADHD, mate. Because they'd given me this fucking label, right? And it's like all of that is stuff that we're just packaged with. And meditation allows us in our truest sense to come back to who the fuck we actually are, right?
That's powerful.
And you cannot learn, guys, who the fuck you are if you're constantly on the go, if you're constantly in the pursuit, if you're constantly doing. You cannot learn enough about yourself. You only ever learn about yourself and who you are in the silence, in those times of reflection. You have to give yourself time to reflect every day, and it can start with as little as 5-7 minutes. And if you don't choose to do it, you're disempowering yourself, because everyone who listens to this podcast would be advised to do it because of how powerful it will be for your life and moving you forward. And if you listen to this and you have the goals that I all believe you all have, and you have the drive and the ambition, and you want to recreate what Juzzy's done, or you want to recreate the best fucking fashion brand, or you want to create what High Smile did and podcast whatever number that was, it's like that's all accessible, but it all starts with first coming to knowing who you are. And that's what meditation is to me.
You know, one of the first things you said spoke to me so well then. So when you're meditating and the answers to questions just come to you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because
Because
what I do is through the day, you know how when you ask yourself a question, but you just don't have the answer then. And then you get really frustrated with yourself and you get into this fucking battle and you're like, fuck, I don't have the answer. I need the answer. I need it now. I don't do that anymore. What I do is I ask a question and then I just see when it comes to me. The answer comes to me, right? Because the answer is going to come to me. The answer will pop up. It will pop up in a conversation. It will pop up in something I'm doing. It'll pop up in a queue. It'll pop up. It comes to me. The answer comes to me now. I'm not chasing answers anymore. I don't chase answers in my life. My whole life, I've been in the pursuit of things, chasing careers, chasing sports things, chasing this, chasing that, chasing this podcast. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just coming here and I'm like, if I sit here with Juzzy, this is my mindset of this podcast. I breathe and meditate before you came. So about 10 minutes before you came, I was meditating, setting my intentions for the value that I wanted to bring the audience from this podcast that I'm trying to put down with you, setting the intention, and then not rehearsing questions I'm going to ask you, not doing that, because the conversation will flow how it's meant to flow, right?
Yeah.
So don't do that. I'm not a question and answer podcaster. I have conversations with humans, right? But I just set the fucking intention for the conversation at the start, and then I know when I have the conversation with you that the right things for the right people who listen to this content that empowers them will come from that. And that's how I do it. And it might sound woke and it might sound woo-woo, but my life just is a lot more peaceful and a lot more calm and a lot more enjoyable because of that process.
Yeah.
And it's a peace and calm that I've never had before I started that.
We're talking meditation.
Breath work and the mindfulness and the meditation and that kind of stuff, yeah.
I like that you don't chase answers. I love that.
Never chase answers. Never. Don't chase women. Don't chase answers. Don't chase nothing because you're not here to chase. You don't need to chase anything.
Yeah.
The women that are attracted to you or the men that are attracted to you, girls, will come to you. It'll all come to you. The opportunities are the best ones will always be attracted to you, right? You'll create. I had seen you on social media, and I thought, it'd be great for us to do an interview. And then I bumped into you in the lift, but I didn't go out to fucking chase you and start messaging you and start hassling you for a fucking podcast. I met you naturally.
Yeah.
Right. There was no fucking. It was just a fucking freak fucking meeting. That's the way.
That's cool.
That's the way things work. I just believe it. I believe your whole life changes when you start to approach things like that.
Yeah. Oh, I rock with like manifestation. I rock with that shit.
And I want to finish on that because the manifestation. Talk to me about this manifestation of this. You said 0 to 1 million at the start.
It's just. I speak about it more practically, I think, which people who aren't into like who look at like meditation or like manifestation as a bit out there or something.
Yeah.
Which I guess you always do. Everyone does.
Everyone has opinions, but opinions don't matter.
Everyone does it. It's like an arsehole, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah, it's like you put things more elegantly than me. I put them in like funny terms.
Just put it how it flows to you because I really want to get your experience of the manifest of what you've manifested.
Yeah, well, I manifested things. When you channel your attention on something, that's all I see manifestation as. It's like it's not channel your actions. That's good and necessary a lot of times, but your attention, what you think about. I find one of the biggest challenges in my life is like kind of battling against your own mind type thing. Like just thinking about garbage you don't want to think about, like whether that be like reality TV. I'm not sure what other people go through, but when you channel your attention on something or like on a goal or a lifestyle you want to live, I channeled my attention well on a lifestyle that I want to live. I'm like, I want to be on stages. I want to travel. I love traveling. I just want to travel, make money while I'm traveling, or make enough money to continue traveling. I was never like my thoughts were never like greedy, and I just I say that I manifested what I'd done. That's how I would say it because I didn't. Yeah, I didn't make the perfect decisions, but I always channeled my intentions. My intention was always on the right.
You did make the perfect decisions because every decision that you made led you to this point. This is what I need people to understand. You don't. Most people, 99% of people that aren't doing serious crimes, make the right decisions. And even some of them that do make serious crimes, not certain crimes because they're unspeakable, but say you rob a bank and then you go to prison for 10 years, you come out, and then that leads you onto a speaking tour and a book tour and all this stuff, and then you start to live the life that you always should have been living, but you've lived it from what started as a negative turn into a positive.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, everything that happens to you is happening to you at the right time. It's all succinct, and that's no different to you, mate.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think you held a vision, from what I understand from you, and then you tell me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
You held a vision of freedom. Freedom from time.
Boom.
Freedom from place. Freedom of having to go to work a 40-hour week job. You had a freedom goal, and your freedom goal was, I just want to be anywhere I want to be, doing what I want to do, enjoying my life, earning a bit of money. And I don't need to earn millions of dollars, but I just want to earn enough money to do this and to keep that ball spinning. And that's what you've manifested. You've manifested that life for yourself.
Freedom's the most important thing, actually. That's so interesting that you say that, because that was the most important thing to me. Not only did I manifest freedom, I actually refused to not have freedom straight away, like years and years ago. Because I was never locked into a job or anything like that, ever.
So you've made in your life what you made then, from what it sounds like to me, is you made an absolute decision one day in your life that I will only tolerate this kind of life, and I won't tolerate this other kind of life. And when you made that absolute decision, you weren't relenting on it. You were unforgiving of it. You're like, nah, if this does not fit this type of life, I don't want it. And I think that attitude for you has allowed you to go deeper in terms of, like, this is what I will accept and this is what I won't accept in my life, and that's it. And it's like, once you've drawn your once everyone who listens to this draws their line in the sand, essentially, and makes that unwavering decision to go forth in the business, to go forth in the creation, to go forth in the brand they're going to build, to go forth in their personal brand, to go forth in whatever. Once they draw that line in the sand of what they will and won't accept in every area of their life, essentially, that is when you can start to manifest what you do want, because you've already cancelled out exactly what you won't accept. Yeah. So you won't ever be drawn to that. Yeah,
that's definitely how it went. That's good. I like that, because that was what I mapped out. That's one of the only things I mapped out, just freedom. I'm like, entertainment totally suits me, because I guess I'm relatively entertaining. Just my life is pretty entertaining in itself, for better or worse. But yeah, exactly right. Freedom, and then freedom is a perfect word for it, because my dreams were always stages and touring. That was always my dreams.
And what are you living?
Well, right now I'm touring right now. Yeah.
So what are you living? You living your dream.
Yeah.
You're essentially,
quite literally. Yeah.
Everything that you thought about and put attention to, you're living.
And I think a powerful thing I do to keep me has kept me on track. I always thought, what would like the 15-year-old me? What would the inner child in me, like, if I could show, hey, 15-year-old Juzzy, this is what you look like, bro. You know, this is what you look like in 10 years. This is what you're doing. He'd be like, whoa. And I don't even know what that does to my soul, bro. That sends me insane. Like I could shed a tear on that. I'm not overly like emotional or anything. So it's like that's something I reminded myself on. What would 14-year-old you think?
So you're essentially then trying to make the 14-year-old version of yourself proud.
I'm trying to make I've already done it. I'm trying to make the 14-year-old version of myself go, whoa, wow. Because that's the type of things I was saying when I was 14. I was like, I'm going to be a rock star.
Yeah, I love it.
Every single person who knows me can attest to that. Every single person. People who just brush shoulders with me would attest to that. Yeah.
Relentless, mate.
Yeah, relentless. And now we're touring. And I fucking love touring, man.
I think we're going to be in the UK at the same time.
Yeah, we're going on tour. Frankie's coming on tour. We get pretty rowdy, bro.
Yeah.
You don't drink, eh?
No, I don't drink.
Do you get rowdy?
Energy. Energy is what I vibe off. So if there's energy there, and it's good energy, bro, I don't need alcohol. I don't need drugs.
Oh, totally. I completely agree with that. I get rowdy if I'm staying sober.
I can have I can be out there. Trust me,
mate. We got fun. We got filthy. You can tattoo my leg. I let fans tattoo my foot.
I don't know if I'm that rowdy.
Well, yeah, we have a gun. You can just put your name on here. Look,
mate. I'll put my name on your foot, but I don't reckon I'll put any tattoos on me. I won't.
No, not on you, on me.
Yeah.
This whole leg's going to be like
tattooed of fans
and shit. Yeah, my whole. I don't know if the camera can see it. Whatever.
That's fucking funny.
Fully just fans. I just get the gun out at 4 a.m. Like, let's go.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Plenty of other stuff goes on at 4 a.m. You meet Cam.
Yeah,
he's crazier than me.
Yeah, I bet he is. But if there was one, I ask all the guests this because I love the way that he gets guests to really go in and think and strip everything away.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was one piece of advice you could give this audience on, if you have to check out the world, obviously me and you both know that you check out your dust, you can't take anything with you, but you can just leave a piece of wisdom for the audience that you believe, the most important piece of wisdom that you could give them that can help them take their life forward, to move the needle in their life right now. What would you give them? What would you tell them?
Moving the needle on
like
business, happiness.
Just you can only leave one piece. It's not about a specific thing. It's just about what would you, if you could only leave one piece, what would that piece of information that you leave to the world, what would that be?
Oh my God. In the form of words right now, not like art or something.
Yeah, in the form of words, yeah. Words that empower people, that can help create a movement in their life.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's difficult right off the bat, to be honest, but yeah, I think the most powerful thing I do is I wake up every day and just remind myself, like, it'll all be over soon. Just get after it. Like, I don't even, when I think about like leaving Earth and shit, I don't even think about like, oh yeah, maybe I'll be 89, 99, 49, 109 years of age. It doesn't, like, there's truly no difference whether you're here for a short period or a long period. It's all a short period, is my point.
Yeah.
I just, honestly, the most powerful thing I do is I remind myself, like, that's it. This will all be over soon. Because you say that to yourself, man. Say that to yourself. And if you don't know what you should be doing that day, whether you need whether it's career or like, oh, I better go remind my mum I love her. You know what I mean? Like, this will be done. This will be fucking done. Like, it's one and done, bro. One shot at it that I know of. I don't know what people believe in, but I definitely know we got a shot right now, and that's it. It'll all be over soon.
I love it because that, I can see how much that means to you when you say it.
Oh, bro, goosebumps, man. I remind myself every day. I'm like, mate, this will be done soon.
You got one shot in life, guys, and same to all of you that listen to this. You got one shot in life too, and I for one, fucking hand on my fucking heart, wholeheartedly want every one of you to experience the most fucking awesome life that you can envision. And all I encourage all of you to do is just to get up and get after it and fucking have a go, like Juzzy says. And Juzzy, mate, that was fucking epic to have you on, mate.
Thanks,
to have you on. Thank you.
We went everywhere.
This is why I love it. This is why I love this content. This is why I love long form content, because you get to go everywhere. It's like, it's not this fucking, so then you did this and then blah, blah, blah. It's like all that shit. Like, I don't enjoy that. I like to go into places where, it keeps it interesting for us because we don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it's like, so that it's just fresh, and I'm just really appreciative to have someone like you come on and share knowledge, mate.
And I've not done a podcast, definitely not this long. So that was really like, I was super intrigued because that's what it is. It's a conversation. You can't. That's what I was saying before we started. Like, you can't pretend to be anyone or anything. Like a 2-hour conversation is a 2-hour conversation. Like, you just saw every part of me. Like, I think every part of you.
I know, mate, and vulnerability and all. Like, you've took on labels in the past that you shouldn't have took on. I've took on labels. Sometimes we need calling out on the labels. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, this podcast, if you listen to it back again, guys, it just shows you that even when you have what the outside world perceives as success in what Juzzy's done, it's like you still put put that label of, like, you could label yourself dumb or you could label yourself something else, and you just have to strip back all those labels and remove them from your life because they're not taking you where they're meant to go to. And you know, it's good that we get it's good that me and Juzzy and other people can get conversations like this which are just real, where they're not fucking like edited and made up crap, because then it allows everyone to get the real insights, because it's what you can read between the lines of these podcasts is where all the juice is. It's like, oh yeah, fucking hell, like I get it now, I get that. And it's like, if you keep listening to these podcasts and you keep putting them in your ears, and you listen to all the guests that I bring you guys over the time, it's like you'll keep getting more and more insights into these people's minds, and you can put together your own picture of whatever this success that doesn't exist right now looks to you. And I think that's a fucking beautiful thing. So I just want to say to all of you that listen, thank you so much for staying with me and Juzzy this fucking long. I would appreciate all of the Bread Gang that listen to this, and all of the Frankie Lee podcast listeners that listen to this, just to like, to share, subscribe, to share this content, to send me and Juzzy a message to let us know which parts of the podcast you resonated with the most. This podcast and everything that I'm creating right now and everything Juzzy's creating, we buzz our tits off doing it, and we just want to put as much value in your ears and entertain you as much as we can possibly, especially from my point of view. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here, bruv, and much love.
Hit the outro.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Frankie Lee podcast.